alert. Stay awake, stay awake. Are we awake?
Yes.
Maybe not. And peace be with you.
Yes.
It's good to have you here awake and bushy-tailed and wide awake on this day. I have to tell you, the sky was a beautiful, absolute blue. I was laying on my back, just kind of stretched out like this. I was looking up at the sky. It was just so blue, and there's some clouds over here. And every now and then a plane from Logan would silently cross above me, and then it would be gone. And it was just so beautiful. It was so beautiful as I lay on my back. It was Wednesday, November 6th. It was a beautiful, beautiful sunny day. Where was I? I was on the roof of the church, which is a great place to meditate, to pray, to think, and you know what? No one bothers you on the roof of a church. No one can see. Who's been on the roof of the church here? Jeff has. See, that's, hardly anyone will come up there and bother you. It's beautiful. I think Hank has been there too.
Yeah.
Yes, Hank has been there too, but not Emily.
No.
Good. Please don't. Yeah. So, and I had to pass through my office on the way to get up there, which is, if you've seen it, the walls are falling apart right now. We have water damage in the tower. And I told myself not to worry about that. Buildings are just a tool for ministry. The roof was still being held up just fine. The supports are great there. You could jump on the roof. Nothing's going to give way. What is the church building but a tool for ministry? And as I lay there, I thought about, it was the day after the elections, and I thought about what a tough year 2024 has been. I was thinking about myself personally. I was being very selfish, thinking about myself. It's been a hard year. Both of my parents, who are, thank God, online here today with us from their place of traditions in Dedham. They had early on been rushed in, medical emergencies, life-threatening, to the same emergency room, just 18 days apart. Around the same time, my Patricia left me. My sister and I scrambled to find living for my parents. A few weeks later, our church had a difficult transition to a new preschool teacher, and I'm just lying there. And then we had this, the election the day before, and I'm just looking at the beautiful blue sky and just lying on my back, just lying there. Had we somehow entered into the end times? And if we had indeed entered in the end times, if I am in the end times, if some of our world's in the end times, where is our hope now? Where is our hope in the end times? When Jesus and his disciples were walking outside the temple in Jerusalem, a conversation captured today and read for us by Madeline from the Gospel of Mark, the 13th chapter, Israel is really powerful. Jerusalem, a mighty temple there. People would stream to worship, to have offerings at this temple, like a once-a-year pilgrimage. Priests would perform the rites. It was a powerful place to be, a place of hope. And the disciples said, "Teacher, just look at the stonework here. These are magnificent buildings." And Jesus said, "You're impressed by this grandiose architecture? There's not a stone in the whole works that will be left on top, one on top of another. It's all going to be ruins. Nothing you see here is going to last. Nothing you see here is going to last." And the disciples were shocked, and they said, "Well, how can this happen? What are the signs? And how are we going to find hope in these end times?" And Jesus said, "Well, there's going to be wars, there's going to be famines, there's going to be hurricanes, earthquakes. and even the stars from heaven will fall. And then there will be people that come along and say, I'm the only one who can save you. And they'll pretend to be me. And they'll say, I'm the only one that can make a difference. I am the only one. And Jesus says, these are uncertain times. Hold on, be alert for me, stay awake for me, stay awake for my arrival. Stay awake for my arrival. So there I am, thinking about those words. I'll stay awake for my arrival. Be alert. It was a beautiful day. I remember the day. It was a stunningly beautiful. It was warm. I could just be in a shirt. And I realized I was not alone. Yes, my office was crumbling, but I was also part of a wonderful, caring community. And I'm deeply honored to experience the ways that you care for each other, across the miles. I think. And we even have Ann zooming in here from North Carolina. It's so good to have you here. And last week we had Jim from Florida. And I thought of all the wonderful, caring ways this community is connected. And I'm so glad to see all of your smiling faces today. I remember a couple years ago that I thought, I just have to get away. I just need a break, and I went, I put my bike in the car and went up to Middlesex Fells, and it was just a beautiful day. I went mountain biking. I probably took trails that were too difficult for me that day. It's just smashed. I just needed to throw myself into the woods on my bike. But safety first, helmet. I always put my hands up before I fall. Safety first. My trusty water bottle, and I always take out my keys from here, and I detach my car key, and I carry that with me as I go. Here's what it looks like as I go bike riding, so I can get back in my car, no problem. Safety first, because you don't want to come back to your car. It's dark. There's no way to get out of it. It's a dark, abandoned woods where you are there. So, and I think I saw a 4-point buck. I saw all kinds of deer. It was just a beautiful day. I get back to the car, take out my trusty house key, which doesn't work very well to open my car. Everyone's far away. I called Hank. I think you were on Mount Monadnock that day, or close to it, and he was the only one who knew of a key to my house. And at this point, I'm all alone. It's dark. I don't have lights, and I think I hear some rustling in the woods. And I was all alone. And in my hubris, I thought, I'm just fine all on my own. I don't need other people. I'm going to have a great day. And then, unbeknownst to me, Hank called Emily. Emily had the key to get into my house. Emily got my car key. And Emily, you're dealing with all your own issues. She drove out to where I was and handed me the real key for my car. The real key for my car. So where's my hope? My hope is in Emily. My hope is in community. Yes. My hope is in this community. We can get together, we can laugh, we can cry. This caring community that's gathered together here today and across the miles online. Say after me, my hope is in Emily. My hope is in Emily. Isn't that great? We can say that. My hope is in Emily. Happy to be rescued by Emily. Happy to be rescued by community. Our special community here. And as I lay there on the roof that couple Wednesdays ago, I said, in my end times, in our end times, that's my hope. is communities like this formed in what I see as the Jesus way of caring for each other, coming back to that again and again, because humans can stray and we could be so mean and cruel. We have to keep coming back to how are we supposed to treat each other? What is the Jesus way? How can we be accountable? How can we call upon, for that day, my Savior, Emily, to come and save us and save us? And I realized that's my hope. That's my hope. Being there for each other in our times of need. In our uncertain times, in our end times, my hope, our hope, is in this Jesus community in the world as we travel through it together. And as I was laying on my back, watching these beautiful, beautiful clouds go by, I wanted to feel so sorry for myself, but now I couldn't, because now it's going through all the ways that this community does so many incredible things to make a difference for others in these end times. When you are, unhoused or homeless, that's a bit of an end time for you. And this community partners with those people in so many ways. Sandwiches through the food. We're really great at food, right? But also the food, the connection that comes with food, like being there, making homemade food with the soup kitchen in Waltham, or sandwiches for the outdoor church in Cambridge, or bringing all kinds of stuff down to City Reach. I've led youth groups down there for many years, 12 different, and now Josh is doing that too. Cradles to Cran, the poor children of Massachusetts, and our environment. We have a nurturing native plant garden here, pollinator pathway, helping to be there for the environment and all in the midst of the climate change that's happening, and our own Deacons Fund for those in need, and nurturing our hearts and souls. Reverend Bill's doing an amazing job the way he nurtures through TLC, theology, literature, and coffee, and Josh with all he does with the Fall Festival and with Story Lab, and we have Thursday Bible study, very faithful people there. And so I'm lying there. I'm like, wow. In our uncertain times, in our end times, our hope is in the community like this. But make no mistake, our church is also in the end times. We are in the end times. And just like Jesus and his disciples were in the end times. And a generation after Jesus had that conversation with his disciples, and they're like amazed at this amazing building, he said, it's not going to last. Everything's going to pass away. And that's what came to pass. There was a revolt. And then the Romans came in and made sure that there would not be another revolt, and just totally destroyed Jerusalem. No more way to be Jewish there, no more temple. And the very birthplace of Christianity wiped off the map. The very first house churches there, we think perhaps were the brothers of Jesus, James and John, were leading, gone, wiped out. But remember how Jesus ended with hope. Some of those words that Madeline read for us, these are but the beginning of the birth pangs. Painful, but birth pangs. Something wonderful is coming. And as we know from history, that's just what happened. Not only did Judaism adapt, and no longer could they worship in the temple, but now they had to have a new model for being, and now they would have rabbis in these communities as they got dispersed through the major cities of the world and went to far more places than just Jerusalem. And that small church of early Christianity also spread, just a few thousand people at that time, and through the ages. I think the last count is living, the church that is alive, 2.6 billion people in the world, and it's growing. It's growing. The church is surging right now. However, not in the United States. Not in the United States. We're now experiencing a trend away from church going. It's a global trend. I mean, global to the United States. It's across the board. Actually, the largest loss in church membership right now are in the conservative evangelical churches. They experience more loss than any other church that's out there right now. It's just like across the board, People are stepping back. Here's some quotes. In the last 25 years, this is the largest and fastest religious shift in United States history that is happening. 40 million people in the last 25 years have melted away from active church going. This shift, when you measure it in amounts of people, this shift is larger than all these events added together. Then the first Great Awakening in U.S. history, the second Great Awakening, and all of the Billy Graham Crusades combined. That number of people are now gone. In 25 years. 25 years. This is a quote from the book that was just published in 2023, and this book is called The Great Dechurching. The Great Dechurching. And they worked with social scientists. It's the most comprehensive study done of this, looking into all the various reasons. And they said the Great Dechurching is here. We are in the end times, across the board, The good news, because there's good news. They looked into all the reasons well, let me first say that just like when the temple was destroyed, that was not the end, but there was a massive readaptation to what was happening, and what happened was explosive growth, very difficult birth pangs. The words that Madeline read for us today, the birth pangs are coming, the birth pangs are here. Something wonderful was being born back then in the great destruction of Jerusalem, and something wonderful is being born now. Now, Payson Park Church, as you know, is not immune to these global forces. Our high water attendance mark was not even the 1970s or the 80s. It was 1938. 1938 was the highest point, and our archivist is nodding her head because she knows the facts. Yes, it was 1938. That was the highest point, and we've been in. That was the high water mark for this church. And today, in 2024, I'm very honored to say we are in the middle of birth pangs. We're in the middle of birth pangs. And what's going to happen? What's going to happen? We don't really know. But we are making connections with many communities in our area. We're learning from others, building relationships. Linda, our office manager, is bringing in all kinds of people. We packed this hall here for the Christmas play. We make connections with other theater communities and people downtown, partnering with the homeless, raising money for Conley Cathedral. We are connecting to Haitian communities, and with the help of our YCOM and others, we are learning so much. But most significantly, we are reaching beyond Sunday time with our children's choir. If you come here on a Friday and you're upstairs in the music room or the, I guess you call it the Sunday nursery area, but that's the Friday play area, it's packed. And you can hardly hear yourself think for the noise in there. And kids are singing songs here. There's like 2 age groups. They're switching back and forth. And there's like snacks, and Josh will bring up tea. And I'm meeting people who are like editors with the Boston Globe, or psychologists, or people that are, fascinating people that have had zero connection to this church before. And they're here. And they love to have their kids here, and a community is developing. It's absolutely amazing. And I can tell you the other good news is going back to that book, The Great Dechurching. It says they look at all the reasons that people have left the church in the last 25 years. And yes, some people leave because they're hurt, or some people, but they say it's not because, they actually say if you have more education, you're more likely to stay with the church, even in secular universities. And they say that the main learning that they had is that these 40 million that have left, and others, they are yearning for what they left. And in the thousands of interviews that we've done with the people who have dechurched themselves, these people are looking for what I would call a caring Jesus community. And they're willing to go back if they find a place that is healthy relationships, that's making a difference in the caring life of each other, and also the caring life of the community around them. In some places, that is happening. That is happening. And I have to tell you, we've taken that noise, it's very noisy on those Fridays, and now we've started our first Fridays here, not on the Sunday, and people are like grateful. They say, we're maxed out on Sunday, we have to see grandma, or we're taking a trip, but Fridays we can make. Trying something different, and the times that we have these first Friday service, and the parents, they'll say, well, I can be part of the music crew here, the band. There's just as many people there, actually more people there on a Friday than here on a Sunday. And so, what is happening? What is happening? We are living in the end times, and we are nurturing our lovely traditional service, and we're birthing something new here. And I grew up with classical music. I am honored to sing with our choir, and the choir is just amazing voices, and I want to nurture this, because I believe in addition, not subtraction. And this is you feed my soul. The music, this group here feeds my soul. I love stained glass windows. I would go to every cathedral in Europe if I could, and I've gone to a lot of them. It's very, very beautiful. So here we are. And I do recommend this sometimes, but maybe you can just get off the lie on a roof and look up and realize we do have hope in the end times. There is great uncertainty. Stay awake. Be alert. Not just Emily is arriving, Jesus is arriving. Jesus is arriving. There are large forces beyond our control that are changing the world, beyond the control of this little community here. And yet, and even my office is crumbling. But I'm so full of hope. I'm so full of hope. There is hope in the end times. Can we say thanks be to God? Thanks be to God. Amen. My joke about my office, too, is that people, like restaurants, pay a lot of money for this special look where you kind of expose the bricks behind. I get it for free. So it's really, you should take a tour sometime. Yeah.